But don't look in your rearview mirror, here comes number 8. He's a rocker and a roller, and he shows us how to shut him down. I guess he runs independent until my daddy's back in town. Yeah, I guess he runs independent until my daddy's back in town. Bad boy, stand on it, son.
And welcome to the Nasboys podcast. Now, did you know that in a test in January of 2009, Greg Biffle managed to reach a top speed of 218 miles per hour in a test for Roush Fenway as part of evading NASCAR's testing ban? This became the fastest speed ever achieved on this track by a stock car. So anyways, guys, welcome to the Nasboys podcast. I'm your host, Mike, aka Mike Bob Fan 101, with my good friends and co-hosts Christian, aka Savage NASCAR.
What's up, guys?
Cam, aka I Spy Cam.
Hello, y'all.
And Josiah, aka Josiah _ Calhoun.
Hey, guys.
So let's talk about this weekend's races at Knoxville and Atlanta. We're going to start off with the truck race at Knoxville. I don't even know if you can call that a race. What did you guys think of it?
It was sloppy, it was muddy, and it was just a demolition derby. I did watch highlights of the race. I didn't watch it live. Same thing with the Xfinity race and Cup race because they're on NBC, can't see SN. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't expect it. The Knoxville race, Knoxville Raceway, you think it's in Tennessee, but if I'm correct, it was in Iowa or Indiana. But I'm happy to see NASCAR do more dirt racing, but that race, honestly, it turned out to be a disaster, in the eyes of a lot of fans. And there's a lot of wrecking, a lot of things that could have been avoided, but it was fun racing though at points. But, a lot of fans didn't like that race because it just kept prolonging and it lasted forever because there were so many wrecks. And they had a bad call.
Yeah, they did have a bad call. This race, man, honestly, I'm not upset that I watched it. Like, I don't know if they're ever going to do it again because of how bad of, many wrecks there were. But I'm just glad I was able to watch this. For some reason, it reminded me of Bowman Stadium, of just how many wrecks there were. Like, yeah, Bowman Stadium was always known for being like, a wreck fest. And this was basically that, just on mud. I mean, you can't really even call it a race, really. I kind of feel bad for teams, though, that got wrecked out because of it, or wrecked. That's going to suck. That's got to suck, I'm sure, because, you only have a limited amount, cars you can use. And so, I also thought there was more than just one call that I thought was a little, weird, They should have done something because that race went on for forever. By the end of it, I was just happy that it left. Like, honestly, I was praying. I was like, please, just let this end. I don't care who wins. Just let this end.
I thought this race was definitely a lot of wrecks. It was really crazy, but I think I agree with Haley Deegan on her YouTube video when she said it was crazy.
What's that dude's gonna kill somebody. The guy who's 41, his tire was in my window net. Dude, that was ridiculous. That was the biggest joke of a race ever. That was stupid. That was borderline dangerous. Very, very dangerous. I can tell you how many times I was backwards on the track because the whole track was blocked off from wrecked cars. And there's a bunch of cars aiming towards me wide open under caution. So I made it through turn 1. Coming out of turn 2, I had I think it was a 34. Of course, 34. Kept hitting me down. I was like, dude, where do you want me to go? All of a sudden, I don't know where he came from, because I was right on the bottom. 41 goes straight into my door and drives up the side of me. Like wide open. I was, what?
Knocks the battery out of the truck.
Yeah. His
Like
tire
the-
was in my window net. I definitely screamed. I was like, ah! He was like, what? I heard it coming. Man, that was kind of a bummer. I was a little disappointed with how the first truck race went at Knoxville, but it is what it is. It's just a wreck fest, which obviously in the beginning I got into the fence a little bit, got some positions back, which that wasn't a great start to the race, but it just went downhill quick in third stage, I think, for everyone. It was just a mess. People trying to choose positions that they wanted and they'd end up getting them, so that was wild, but is what it is. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Today was a emotional roller coaster, to say the least. But thanks for all the support. So be sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. You know the deal. Check out shophaleydeegan.com.
Yeah, definitely. Excuse me.
Are you eating again?
Yes.
Why?
I didn't expect. I'm trying it. Okay, guys. Sorry, I had to stop that so abruptly. But I don't know how I feel about this race, because the first half of the race was really solid. We saw, solid dirt racing as per usual in the trucks, but that ending though, I don't know what that was. That was by far the worst truck race I've ever watched as a fan. Period.
Wow.
No, like in terms of racing, like how the drivers were racing each other, that was like. Carson Hocevar said it the best. No one raced with respect. And there were a lot of like fans who, they're accustomed to like sprint car racing, because Knoxville is more of a sprint car track. It's not made for big, heavy stock trucks. And, the track, like I said, it's not made for stock trucks, but Carson Hocevar said it best. He said that no one was racing with respect, and there were a lot of dirt fans there that, this is one of their first tastes into NASCAR, and they looked pathetic. They looked like they couldn't drive. In the final stage with like 20 to go, there was a restart every like 5 minutes, and there would be a crash right after that, thanks to, stupidity from like Derek Kraus and Austin Wayne Self. Those guys were the biggest clowns of the race, period. And Kraus had like 4 drivers mad at him. So I don't know. It was a crap show. I definitely also agree with Haley Deegan. Cam, don't call me a simp. That it was, no one was racing with respect. I don't know what NASCAR was doing prepping the track. They don't really know how to prep dirt tracks. It's just the drivers who know how to race on dirt, like Creed, Deegan, Friesen, Crafton, who are the experts. And Deegan didn't even have a good race. But this isn't about Haley Deegan. This is about how embarrassing that race was at Knoxville. I hope that they go back to Eldora. This proves it, that they should go back to Eldora, or at least a second Bristol dirt race, because I don't know what that was. Knoxville was not made for the truck series, and the drivers just don't know how to drive, except for a few.
That's a good point.
You can go.
Sorry about that. I was just going to say that's a good point. Like the truck series they've had some good races on dirt in the past, especially at Eldora, but at Knoxville, it's kind of new. So it's kind of like, it reminds me of what happened with the Cup race at Coda. It was, no one expected that to happen in the Cup race at Coda, like the rain that happened, you couldn't see out the window. But for the truck series, this race, no one expected to see that much carnage.
Right. And I was just going to say, like, you could tell what was intentional and was not intentional. And a lot of those were just really aggressive for no reason. I mean, there was, I feel like to be on a dirt track, just in general, you have to treat it with more respect. And, like, you really have to, like, watch what you're doing. I mean, you can't treat it like, Bristol, where you can just go, totally aggressive and sometimes might win it. I mean, you really got to be careful with what you're doing.
Right. I mean, a lot of drivers should have lifted a little bit more. Like, we had Donnie Schatz in the race. He's supposedly a dirt expert. And Jake Griffin, I think he's another one. Like Donnie Schatz was riding on someone's quarter panel, and Griffin just didn't lift.
First win this season. Who's it going to be? It's NASCAR overtime in Knoxville. Chandler
Smith did his job.
Oh, and there's the big pileup.
Oh, this is going to be
That's
ugly.
going to bring out the caution again. Oh boy, they're just piling in, unable to get stopped. It's turning into a demolition derby.
Turning into. There's a fire.
We're going to put the red out.
Yeah, I think it's just the yellow light flashing in the smoke. Oh, I thought Norm was it's running over stuff.
Yeah, Chase Briscoe has climbed out. He has had enough. The 45 involved in that one as well. Of course, Jet Nolan. There's Donnie Schatz. His night is complete.
Wow.
Sheldon Creed out of his truck and done. And as mentioned, the red flag has been displayed. All the trucks, even those that could actually still roll around the track, have come to a stop and been stopped.
I got to tell you, Vince, I didn't see green, red coming. I mean, green, yellow, I can give you that. I thought it would be green, white. I had no idea it would be green, red.
Well, the drivers involved in this one all have to go to the medical center to get checked out.
How big is it there?
I hope they've got room. And it's been a crowded place tonight. And Briscoe, good to see Chase give the thumbs up.
That started really near the front, didn't it? Yeah, it
Really
looked like
about 8th spot back.
like the 34 was sideways. Whether he got the back out on his own or he got help, I don't know here. Where you see? Oh, he did that.
Yep.
Oh, 34 got sideways and just got aggressive trying to get going. Got the back out, couldn't get it back, and then
Austin Wayne Self involved as well. The 15 of Tanner Gray took on some heavy damage. Chase Purdy.
Kind of lipped somewhat. And the only way you could really pass was if you were bumping out of the way, and some of those bump and runs were botched and ended up wrecking people, like Kraus. So
Right. And you also had to think into consideration, like, I'm just surprised that out of all the wrecks that we saw, no one got injured.
I mean, I will say, as embarrassing as it was to watch and how bad those drivers were racing on that track, it was definitely entertaining, and it did make me laugh on a Friday night. So thank you, Truck Series drivers, for actually making my night fun. And one more thing about the final restart call, there was a lot of people that were saying Chandler Smith should have won the race. I'm 50-50 on it because, I mean, Chandler was out at the time of caution, but how do you know what's his face? Austin Hill wouldn't have passed him. But yeah, I mean, I think that it was definitely a crap call. I mean, I wish I could have seen a caution light graphic of like what ESPN used to have, and I think Fox has it too, where like if the leader's out at caution, they flash the caution light to show who was out. I definitely wish I could have seen that, but I don't know. It did look like Smith was out by a nose, but it was definitely very close to tell.
With that point that you just said, Mike, I'm going to take mine back. I guess I could see where the NASCAR officials could have gotten mixed up, and that's why I'm not going to hate on them too much for that one. I'm not going to hate on them too much, but I definitely still think that, it's a little – and for being, like, officials, you really got to start checking on this stuff, right? Because I feel like, these past couple of seasons, they let a lot of things slide by, and nothing's happened, and I'm really getting mad at it. It's getting annoying.
True.
Honestly, I didn't see, I wasn't too upset about the call, but honestly, I think they should have thrown the caution.
Yeah.
100%.
So anyway, now let's take a look at what you guys had to say. 2 of you said great. 3 of you said good. 3 of you said meh/okay, and 2 of you said bad. Henry24257 says, just an absolute wreck fest. Good race, but terrible finish. Agreed. Tomboy Racing, he's actually a dirt expert. He says, totally not biased, but real dirt cars are better here. Still okay, though. So now we did a poll about if Chandler Smith should be the winner. 8 people said yes, and 3 people said no. And the driver of the day is Chandler Smith, which Okay, sure. I mean, Chandler was really good that race. I think he needed that race because he was having a bit of a slump. So I'll also give it to Chandler Smith.
I'll give it to Chandler because I don't have. I mean, a lot, this was just a race where I'm like, honestly, I kind of treat this race as like the all-star race or something. Like,
Yeah,
it's not really serious because, man, they just. I'm sure we look like a joke to dirt fans.
that's true. Like I said, Hoskovar said it the best.
My driver today for that race has to be Derek Cross. Without Derek Cross, we wouldn't have had this news story and this controversial,
Yes.
fan base, getting all upset. So
Thank you, Derek Cross, for not knowing how to drive your truck.
How about you, Josiah?
Derek Cruz.
All right, so now let's take a look at the Xfinity Series race. I mean, that was a typical Xfinity race at Atlanta, except it was a little more boring than the first one because Kyle Busch just dominated. What did you guys think?
Kyle Busch, he dominated that race. Pretty much he led 97 of 164 laps. Honestly, I really enjoyed that paint scheme he had. It would have been cool to see Jeff Burton get his second win this season. He came up there short in second. No, Gragson was third. Another, couple other drivers that kind of impressed me up there on Saturday was Ty Dillon. He got fifth, and then Jeremy Clemens was eighth. But, the race was decent. I didn't watch the entire thing. I just saw highlights, so it is what it is. My thing, though, is they say it's Kyle Busch's last Xfinity race. I don't buy that. I don't buy it at all. There's times when they said it would be his final race in the Series, and he comes back next year. So to me, it's like he's the Brett Favre of the Xfinity Series. He says he's going to retire from it, and then he comes back. You know what I'm saying? I just don't buy that. But, is what it is. He definitely was the driver of the day, too.
Kyle Busch was just very dominant. I mean, like I said, anytime he comes down here into an Xfinity race, I just almost feel like it's bullying. In a sense, but definitely a very good driver. Well-deserved win. And I'm with Christian here. I don't think that I think they're lying, man. I don't buy it. I don't think that it's really his, last Xfinity race. No, I don't believe it.
Oh yeah, Xfinity do be racing though, but yeah, for real, I didn't watch the Xfinity race. I feel bad that I haven't been watching these races because I'm never able to talk about them, like the Xfinity truck races. I'm never able to talk about them on the podcast. But yeah, I didn't watch it. I think I'm definitely not surprised that Kyle Busch won. I think he should be the driver of the day. And oh yeah, I also want to say that I hear a lot of people saying that his 100 wins isn't impressive, but I think his over 100 wins in the Xfinity Series is still impressive, even though most of the time he's been racing with lower class drivers.
100%.
Agreed. Well, the racing was just, like I said. I mean, Kyle Busch basically dominated JGR. With Hemrick too, and for Hemrick, I feel really bad for that guy. That guy should have deserved a win a long time ago, and he either just gets screwed out of it or he gets caught in other people's stupidity. But yeah, I mean, with Kyle Busch, like people saying that Kyle Busch's 100 wins aren't impressive, like I can sort of get your point, but first of all, not many drivers can get more than 100 wins. I mean, Richard Petty is one of the only guys that I can think of, and yeah, Pearson. I mean, that's basically it. I mean, Kyle Busch is a beast. I mean, you can't deny that. The man can win with a broken shifter. He can win with anything. I think that he's one of the best drivers today, and he's certainly a top 10, top 15 driver all time. I think. But yeah,
my bad.
But yeah, just racing was meh. Feel bad for Hemrick and Kyle Busch. I don't think it's his last race. I definitely think he's going to come back. Even if it's for a one-off, I think he's going to come back. He's going to dominate it. So now let's take a look at what you guys have to say. 2 of you said great. 6 of you said good. 1 of you said mad/okay, and none of you said bad. Henry24257 says there was major drama between Hemrick and Kyle Busch, and Jeb almost pulled upset. Excuse me. I almost said offset like the rapper. But as to that Hemrick wreck, I don't think Kyle meant to wreck him. I think it was just a botched push.
Here comes Allgaier as well. Allgaier's going to look high here. And a push there for the 54. Contact made. Hemrick slides up, trying to save it. He's into the wall.
Keep going.
Caution comes out again.
Still green. Yellow's out.
Contact made. Hemrick trying to save it, but that first win isn't going to happen today.
Driver of the day, Jeb Burton. I'll give it to Kyle Busch, honestly.
Yeah, Kyle
Jeb Burton, I mean, Jeb Burton ran a good race, but I got to give it to Kyle Busch. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I gotta go Kyle Busch too.
Sorry.
I know you guys. I was just gonna say I had to give it to Kyle Busch too, and also would like to say real quickly that I definitely think that Kyle Busch will probably be one of the best drivers that I'll ever get to see in front of my eyes. Like 100%.
Fact.
Definitely. And congratulations to Ben Denouche _, Henry24257, and Diecast Racing Enterprises for guessing Kyle Busch would win the race.
Woo!
Now let's talk about the Cup race. What do you guys have to say about it?
I'm going to rant about Kyle Busch in this race, in this Cup race on Sunday. But first off, I have to say congratulations for Busch. You know, I wanted to see him go back to victory lane. A lot of people felt the same way. It's really cool seeing him back to victory lane. Kyle Busch won stage 1, Kurt Busch won stage 2. Them pretty much they led most of the race. I picked Kevin Harvick. Y'all picked Kyle Larson. So I was like, what if, you know, it'd be crazy if Kyle Larson won and I was the only one of us not to pick him. But, you know, Kyle Larson, he did okay, but I think he finished like almost a lot down. But you know what I'm saying? Like coming towards the end of the race, you know, Kurt Busch, he's part of Chip Ganassi Racing, which will be Trackhouse next year. He's coming up on the lap car of Ross Chastain, his teammate. If you're Ross Chastain, what would you have done in that situation? You would help your teammate, right? He did nothing wrong. He was on the outside lane. He didn't even block Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch was whining like a crybaby after the race.
Here's the move of the race, baby! Shake and bake, son, Ross Chastain! Setting Kyle Busch up, taking the line away from him! Here comes his teammate, baby! Shake and bake, son! Whoa, son! Kyle Busch was pissed after this race! He set him up, baby! He set him up! Here comes Kurt Busch! Slicker now, shit! Right up on the inside, baby! Whoa, son! Shake and bake, baby! Shake and bake! Remember I told y'all something extraordinary was going to happen in Atlanta. Last race on that surface. This right here is extraordinary, baby! Shake and bake, slingshot, engage, son! Whoa, baby! Kurt Busch takes the lead right there, and he ain't screwing around with it either. At the stripe, baby! Here he comes, baby! Out of turn 4 for the last time, son! Whoa, son! That's what I'm talking about, baby! Ross Chastain and Kurt Busch! Shake and bake, son! Shake and bake!
We just don't have enough front end with laps on tires. You know, I had everything I had there early and then just smoked it behind the 42, obviously. Shows you what kind of driver he is. And just tried to fight hard after that when I got past and had one valiant effort off of 2, but just didn't have enough momentum to drag him down and make him go high in 3 and 4. And after that, the tires were smoked. So, you know, great effort.
Ross, or were you doing consistently what you'd been doing?
Yeah, Kurt asked for the bottom, so I gave him the preferred lane. Racing to stay on the lead lap, and I'm very aware of what's going on the track around me. So Kurt asked for the bottom, and I gave it to him.
Kurt was having a little fun. Obviously, he was very joyful in victory lane, calling it shake and bake. Did you feel like you helped a teammate out today?
Well, to see a Chip Ganassi racing car go to victory lane with all that's happened in the last few weeks and in all this year, there's nothing I want more. One team, one goal, and that's to win. Hate Chip wasn't here to you know, enjoy this, but for our Clover Chevy
in the playoff, there's no need for you to be so salty toward your brother like that. You're whining about something that wasn't even Chastain's fault. He couldn't have gone to the bottom lane anyway. He's coming off turn 4. It just shows you how ignorant Kyle Busch is. He's such a crybaby, bro. Like, it's crazy that this guy's so insecure. Like, it's just insane. Like, I mean, yeah, he did kind of get in your way, but at the same time, he didn't have to go high. So, the race was pretty decent though. It wasn't a great race, but it was decent. I'll give it like a 5.5 out of 10. But it was better than the Xfinity race, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I have to agree with Savage here. I really did not like Kyle Busch and how he acted. I think he definitely had a way to get out of that situation. He could have easily just went by. He chose to go where Chastain was. Chastain did nothing wrong. I kind of think it's a little annoying to, pick on the younger guy like that. I just think that's a little stupid and ignorant, but that's me because, oh well. I'm happy for Kurt Busch, man. Everybody loves Kurt Busch. I'm glad that he got this win. It was nice to see him up there on with a win and on the stadium. It was nice. Podium, my bad. If I had to like rate the race, I mean, I'm definitely gonna say it's better than Xfinity, but if I had to give it like a rating, I'd probably give it probably like a 6.5 out of 10.
Yeah, Savage, I definitely agree with you. I think Kyle Busch is definitely being I know a lot of the time he gets a lot of criticism for being a crybaby, and sometimes I don't really think he's being a crybaby when people say he is, but I think it definitely is, like, for sure being a crybaby here because, like, he's like, oh no, I'm in the playoffs. I finished second. That's just like he's been really fast lately, so I think definitely is just whining here. But yeah, it's really cool to see Kurt Busch win because I didn't really think that he was gonna win this season, but I'm definitely not really, especially with the speed that he's had lately. I'm not really surprised that he's won, but yeah, I think it's really cool to see him win. Lately, he's become probably one of my favorite drivers, and also I want to say that it was really funny when they were saying "shake and bake" to each other because
Yeah,
it's kind of like he held him off so he could win. But yeah, that was really cool. And if I'm gonna rate this race, I'd say this was a pretty average race. I'd give it a 6 out of 10.
I would
Yeah.
say like one thing else I want to add, that shake and bake reference from Talladega Nights, but like when I first started watching NASCAR in the mid 2000s and the early 2010s, Kurt Busch was, if not like the most hated driver, in NASCAR. He got in so many controversies. He had such a bad attitude. He was just rude.
Mhm.
He started fights all the time and all like that. And then over the years, he's changed. As he's gotten older and more mature, it seems like he's gotten changed. And like, I remember when I met him at Daytona, he's one of the nicest drivers I've ever met. And I didn't expect that, you know what I'm saying? Because just from like things I've seen, like races in the past and on YouTube, he had such a bad, character. But, as he's gotten older, I'd say around 2015, 2016, you could see that change in him personally. And it's one reason why now he's one of the most beloved drivers in the sport.
Yeah. Well, I didn't watch the whole race because I was outside. So I only watched the final stage. A couple points I wanted to add. First off, congratulations to Kurt Busch. He's my second favorite driver, which I was so happy that he won. The shake and bake thing, I don't think it was that bad. Ross just pushed him. He just helped him get the win. Kyle, I don't know why he just became Cryo again. I mean, I understand being frustrated. I understand why Kyle Busch fans are being frustrated. If that happened to Joey Logano, I'd be frustrated too. But I don't think it's worth crying over because that's what teammates are for. You're called teammates. You help each other out, and that's what Ross Chastain did. So salute to Ross
NASCAR is a
Chastain
team
for that.
sport.
Exactly.
Well, and I guess like the worst part about it too that made me like the most mad is I'm like, well, Kyle, if your teammate didn't block someone for you to get the win, I'm sure you'd be upset at your teammate and you'd cry about it on an interview. So I really don't want to hear that. You know what I mean? Like it's what teammates do. I hate to say it, but it's racing. And I just wish there's a lot of crybabies in racing, man. I wish we could take it out because it's annoying.
Exactly.
I feel like I see it too often.
What are you gonna say, Josiah?
Oh no, it was nothing. I was just saying that I was agreeing that NASCAR is a team sport.
Yeah.
But yeah, the racing seemed pretty good. I mean, Kurt pulled away a little bit, but Kyle was right there with him. So I mean, I don't really know what to rate the race because I didn't watch it all for once. But I do want to point out a couple of coincidences. The first one is off topic, and the second one is on topic. The first one, I don't know if you guys remember, but when we were making picks for Pocono, I made a stupid generic joke that says Alex Bowman should win Pocono, so that way we don't have to see it on the schedule. The first half of it came true. Alex Bowman won Pocono. I'll put the clip. I probably put the clip up, or actually, you know what? I'm putting it up right now. Here's the clip of me saying that.
Now
I really don't like Pocono, man. It's just
Alex
one of those
Bowman.
racetracks that like nobody really likes unless you live in that area, and it's your only place to
They
go
need
to
to go
watch one.
backwards there. That's what they need to do. They need to do a backwards race at Pocono.
Alex Bowman, you could probably get a hold of this because my cousin works for you, but please win at Pocono so we don't have to see this. Please. Is the night before the race, I had a dream that I was outside and I was with my family and I missed the entire race and Kurt Busch won the race and I was so happy for him. I come home, I only missed the final stage. Kurt Busch wins the race. I didn't only miss. I missed up to the final stage, and I only watched the final stage. And Kurt Busch won the race, and I was just so shook by that. But it was the wrong order. But Kurt Busch won the race, and that was really cool to me. And I was just so happy for Kurt Busch. And Kurt Busch is also just such a nice guy too. I've met him in 2014 because of my cousin. So yeah, he's definitely not what he seemed like in the early 2000s.
I will
Yeah, I know
say
he's
that
probably turned into one of the coolest drivers in today's NASCAR. Sorry for
Exactly.
interrupting you, Kristen.
well, I was just gonna say that, like, you know, we talked about this when we were recording the Nasboys Sports podcast the other day. We talked about, you know, coincidences or like things that came true, like through dreams, or just like, you know, things that come to mind. We kind of like predict in a way. So comment down below if we should, in one episode, talk about some of those things that have happened where we predicted something crazy and it came true, or we, you know, had a dream about it and it came true. So comment down below if we should do a segment about that sometime in the future.
And one last thing
Also,
before
comment down below. Sorry, Mike. Just gonna say, comment down below if you have any coincidences that you've seen in NASCAR. You can tell us ours. We'd love to hear it.
Okay, but one last thing before we get into thoughts here. To all the people who are crying that Atlanta's getting repaved, you don't see tracks every day go into red flag because of a track repair. It needed it desperately, and I'm so glad that it's happening. I don't like that they're adding the 4 degrees of banking, but I'll give it a chance. But it definitely needs the repave, period.
Good point.
So now let's take a look at what you guys had to say. 5 of you said great. 5 of you said good. 1 of you said meh/okay, and none of you said bad. Ben the news _ says final stage was great. Henry 24257 says it was an awesome race with a classic brotherly rivalry, and Kurt Busch is in the playoffs by winning. And the driver of the day is Kurt Busch with a vote for Tyler Reddick. Okay, sure. Kurt Busch.
Yep.
Kurt Busch.
Yeah, Kurt Busch.
All right, so now let's get into some news. So now let's talk about some of the Gen 7's failures?
Yep.
That's the question. Is it a failure? So there was a lot of people who were claiming that the Gen 7 car has not passed its like crash test with the crash dummies. But Bob Pockrass has said that it's going according to plan, and it's around the same as how the Gen 6 was with its development. So I'm not sure how true that is, because a lot of NASCAR fans really like to believe anything that they read. But I want to know, if this is true, what do you guys have to say about it?
I will say I've looked into this. Oh no, that's all. Anyways, I will say, right, that I've looked into this. I looked up at multiple people's accounts. I'm glad you mentioned Bob Pockrass's, because I was going to mention that as well. So Tuesday morning on SRX or Sirius XM NASCAR Radio, NASCAR Senior Vice President of competition, Scott Miller, went on there and talked about the report. They actually did crash test at Talladega on June the 30th. And basically, they don't have the full report which is kind of crazy. They don't have the full report, but they have crash data. And basically, from what I understand, I've read into this a little bit, but a lot of it I don't understand. But the robot, the robot was, they had a robot for the driver, and then they had a crash dummy also inside, but they also were using the robot as a crash dummy. And some of the crashes they had definitely would have been fatal if that was in an actual race. And that's what a lot of reports have been saying and all that. There's a driver, I forgot what his name is at the moment, my mind just went blank, but he said that like it would have been fatal if a NASCAR driver had driven in that car and had that same type of wreck. They didn't say where they tested the wreck at. I would say they probably tested something maybe on the backstretch or like going straight into a wall or something like that. But it's sad to see that the gen is being moved back another year. But at the same time, I could get why they're doing that because of safety. But they should have tested this last year. They had a chance to test it last year. But my thing is, which frustrates me and other like fans, why are you testing it after you revealed it? Like you should have tested before then. You should test before then, make sure it's okay, do the crash test before you make this huge announcement and have all these fans so happy and excited, and then you just say, "Oh, we can't do it. It failed the crash test next year."
Right. Yeah, I definitely think that's stupid. And I also think it's like a little sketchy that they're leaving things out of it. And half the report's not even there. I don't know. That's just weird to me. But I think that it's dumb because you have to realize that you guys already showed us how the car's built, how it does this, how it does that, how it has this. This is what it looks like. And now you're going to say that, well, we did the crash test, guys. It doesn't work like we thought it would. So we're going to have to go back and fix a lot of things. We're going to have to give it another year, which I'm happy that they did see the crash test. I'm just upset that they did it too late. Like, why couldn't you guys done it before you even came out with the post? Matter of fact, why would you guys even come up with it before you even did before you guys even showed the blueprint of it? Like, I just don't understand that part to me. What kind of logic is that? And once again, NASCAR just makes me upset again. It's disappointing. It's upsetting.
Yeah. And another thing, Miller added in at the end of this segment on the radio show, he did say that they're still planning on trying to use it for competition Daytona. But at the same time, that's what he says. They still haven't confirmed that until they get the full report.
I wouldn't do that. That's so stupid. Why would they do that? That's dangerous. Honestly, if you're asking for someone to maybe be possibly killed and you're already thinking, well, maybe we should push it back another year. And you go, well, let's just maybe if we do, let's just do it at Daytona. Like, that's stupid. You're asking for a death, I think. Or at least someone that's going to get seriously injured. And that's also very dumb. NASCAR, fix your stuff. Please. I beg you. Maybe just do something. Don't, I don't know, if you guys had, a team talk about this. But if you guys did, you guys need help. Because I would understand maybe one person just posted it all and didn't think about it. But if you guys had a group of people that were like, you know what, today we're going to post about it. We're going to do this before we even have all the tests, good. Because imagine, if they didn't do the crash test, what other tests have they not done yet? There might be a lot of things that they even haven't tried out yet. So, and I feel like the crash test is probably one of the bigger ones. So what else are you guys leaving out?
Crazy, dude.
Gen car.
Okay. What happened to the next gen car?
How the crash tests were. I guess I'll say my opinion on it. I don't know exactly if it's being postponed to another year. I just looked it up on Wikipedia, and here's what it says. So on July 8th, rumors started to speculate that the next gen car would be delayed again in 2023 or 2024 because Steve Himmel, I don't know, confirmed that during the crash testing that the dummy in the car would have been killed if it was a real driver. And he would say that the cars may have been too stiff and had too few crush zones. And in response to the allegations, NASCAR says that the rumors had been happening for months and said in a statement from John Probus that We simulated some of the bigger accidents that we've had on the current Gen 6 car on the next gen car. I'd say that we're pretty happy with where we're at. I won't get into specifics at where we're at. So I don't know how I feel about this because, like I said before we started the topic, NASCAR fans will believe anything they'll read. There's been several like joking posts from people from like Bob Pockris with like 2 C's or something like that. And people will automatically buy that up and instantly assume it's the truth. Or they hear something on NASCAR Reddit and instantly believe it's the truth. So I'm gonna take it with a grain of salt here. But if that's really the case that like a driver could have instantly been killed, how do you have 20 plus years of safe race cars, safe modifications to tracks and cars, and then you just throw all that out the window? I don't understand how we've gotten that far as a society as NASCAR fans. And if they do
But
race,
then again,
go.
I'm sorry, you go. My
Go.
bad. You sure? Okay. I was gonna say, but then again, I mean, you also have to think about this too. Is that like because of this, they never listen to fans. They
Right.
never do. I'm just saying, like, this is all revolves back around to what we were saying. They never, ever listen to fans. Like, we could tell them something to do, and they won't do it. Right? Like, let's just say, like, we saw something on the car that they didn't. They would be so ignorant enough, they wouldn't say nothing about it. And, you know, it's just getting to a point of where it's unbearable. And I'm tired of, like, big time name, you know, because I count racing as a sport. I don't really care if people don't or not. But big time people in sports and like head commissioners, for example, and they're not fixing things that fans are asking for. It's just so annoying.
One thing too, I also pulled up. Son had found the first time they tried the test. Apparently, from one article I read, was on June 23rd. The sled they used in the test failed, and it prevented sending the car flying into a wall. So they were testing flying as part of the crash. And Denny Hamlin and Kurt Busch personally went to NASCAR SVP Innovation Racing Development personality John Probst, and they were upset about them not providing data and having the positive and negative results immediately. And that's what we had just talked about. They didn't release any of the information yet. So it's just sketchy, dude. I mean, it's unfortunate. Hopefully they could fix this and figure this out.
I mean, NASCAR doesn't even listen to their own drivers. How are they going to listen to the fans?
They never have. I mean, going back to they have listened to drivers, but like, if you've read up in like 70s, 80s, they didn't listen to drivers about all sorts of stuff.
That's why they had a drivers union.
They didn't listen to drivers about like wrecks back in the day, back at Talladega and Daytona. And, you know, and they started to do something about it in 1987 with Bobby Allison's Catchman's wreck, but they still hadn't fixed everything yet. And one thing that kind of, you know, I hate to bring this up, but when Dale Earnhardt Sr. died that race, before he even crashed, after that big wreck that happened on the backstretch, he said, if NASCAR keeps doing this, one of us is going to die. And he ended up dying.
Yeah.
And, you know, I just think that, like, NASCAR, you know, I feel like we need drivers, even though, like, they don't listen. I feel like if drivers came up and fans came up as a whole and started speaking about these issues, surely NASCAR would have to do something. You know, because really, I mean, you know, how far, because really, think about this. How far is it going to be before drivers decide, let's boycott NASCAR? Because they're doing stupid stuff like this. I mean, you got to think that. Because I'm sure they didn't tell drivers about this either. They treat drivers like the fans.
Right.
I mean, really, they do. They treat drivers exactly like the fans do, and it's upsetting and sad.
I'm going to say one thing before we cut this Zoom meeting. If they race this car and it's not fixed by 2022, it's July right now. We're halfway through the year. If they don't fix this car and there's at least one driver, I don't care who it is, what series it is, I don't care. I will never watch NASCAR again. Plain and simple. We'll be right back. All right, guys, we're back. So, Cam, you have a point that you wanted to mention, so go ahead and say your point.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, just real quickly that if someone does like have a really bad crash this season, we know why. And not this season, but next season, we know why. And I think that NASCAR is really gotta get on their stuff. And I'm hoping that maybe NASCAR can learn from this, that maybe they should do all the tests early before they just come out with everything and just say woo woo doo woo, it's here guys, ha 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 ha, and then just basically blue ball us. So it's upsetting.
So now let's talk about something that somewhat has something to do with NASCAR, but also doesn't. But I just wanted to point this out. Christian showed this to me a couple days ago. Amber Bolison, I don't know how exactly to pronounce her name, but it's her comeback story. So here's what happened to her. I'm going to read this Instagram caption here. It's a very long one, so bear with me here. A lot can change in 1 year. 1 year ago today, I suffered the worst crash of my career. I woke up with my race car hanging in a fence and then woke up again laying in an ambulance, unable to feel or move my limbs, thinking I was paralyzed. The paramedics shot me up with adrenaline, which allowed the feeling to come back. My head was so scrambled I couldn't remember the password to my phone to call my loved ones. My lungs had collapsed. I suffered a severe concussion and some burns to my arms. A year ago today, I said something I had never said before. I'm done racing. Obviously, I didn't mean it, but that race had shook me like no other crash or flip I had before. It took me 2 months to recover, but I hopped back in the car and continued to race and pursue sponsorship for the next season. 1 year later, I now have the biggest sponsorship of my career, racing for a NASCAR team that I've always dreamed of racing for, and competed in my first ARCA Menards race a few weeks ago. Biggest race of my career, with more of them to come. If you don't think a lot can change in a year, you're wrong. Put in the work and never give up. Setbacks are inevitable. Your attitude and work ethic is not. You choose that. Be relentless. Let this be your message to keep going. Don't quit. If you're struggling now, it gets better. I promise you. Just keep going.
Her story is very inspirational, and her caption, just laid it all out there, just basically told it all. The wreck actually happened at Green Valley. It was a dirt track in Green Valley, Missouri. There was a car slowed down on the track, and she went a little too high. She flipped out of the track and it actually landed on a fence. But you basically laid it all out there. It's cool to see that she has a ride and everything. She's actually the first Canadian-born woman to win a NASCAR sanctioned race in the U.S. When she won in 2016. I don't know what series, but I'm guessing it was dirt. A dirt track, dirt racing series, which I can't find which series that was. But her story is really inspirational, and I hope she has a lot of good success on in the future. Maybe she'll get some more rides and more sponsorship. Maybe we'll see her in Truck Series. I don't know. If that happens, some people are going to be talking about Natalie Decker and Haley Deegan sort of thing with her, but I don't know. But it's just really cool to see, and it's cool that she shared that with us, and to her fans and all that as well. And yeah, that's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, I'd like to say it was very inspirational too. I thought it was a sweet story for sure. For the people that may, who never know, who might have actually needed to see that or hear that from somebody, just to maybe they're going through a tough time and they needed gratitude. Maybe that story helped them out. What about you, Josiah?
Oh yeah, I thought that the crash she was in, it looked really scary. I'm sure Mike will show a clip of it, but yeah.
There's definitely no fear going into these. I'm just focused on being the best driver I can be and winning as many races as possible and hopefully winning the championship too.
Winnipeg-born race car driver Amber Balcaen made history as the first Canadian female to win a NASCAR-sanctioned race in the United States. And now Balcaen is eager to get back behind the wheel on the NASCAR track after a devastating crash sent her to hospital only months ago.
Oh, we got one up and over.
A little over 7 months ago, on a dirt racetrack in Missouri, Balcaen lost control of her vehicle, sending herself flying into the air, smashing and rolling. She suffered a severe concussion, a collapsed lung, and burns to her body.
I first woke up in the car hanging on a fence, so I could kind of hear the paramedics and stuff around me. And then I passed out again and woke up in the ambulance. When I woke up in the ambulance, I couldn't feel my arms or legs. I thought I was paralyzed. So I thought my racing was done.
Balcaen says over time, she regained the use of her limbs and after several weeks was able to walk again. She says within days of the accident, she knew she still wanted to race. Mentally, it wasn't hard to make the decision. She says crashing is part of the sport. Icon, a manufacturing company from rural Manitoba, stepped in as Balcaen's new sponsor, getting her a full season at the Bill McAnally Racing Academy, a new NASCAR development program.
So to have a Manitoba company backing a Manitoba girl racing on the big stage in the United States, it's truly, I think, amazing and such a cool story in itself.
Balcaen looks to have something capable of contending with Badevsky.
Balcaen has already made racing history as the first Canadian female to ever win a NASCAR-sanctioned race in the U.S. in 2016. Now she has her sights set on breaking more records and continuing to set racing firsts.
You know, I'm one of the very few Canadian females in NASCAR, so I want to try to make every history-breaking record I can. And this year is just another opportunity to do that. And, you know, it would be awesome to have a Canadian female in the top series of NASCAR, or any of the national series. So I'm going to work as hard as I can to get there.
In Winnipeg, Mark Neufeld, City News.
I think that's definitely very inspirational. I think she's been through a lot. I really hope to see her. I don't remember her name, but I hope to see her go to great lengths in her career. I think she would definitely deserve it. Like, you know, that's a girl who worked hard. I think that's definitely a very inspirational story.
Yeah, I definitely got to agree with all your points. I have never heard of her before. No disrespect, but, you know, after reading that, you know, that really touched me. I hope that people can actually find inspiration, because a lot of people, I know that this is not on NASCAR terms, but a lot of people just always have to find something to complain about. And this should show you that you never should complain, you never should give up about anything, and just keep pushing. So I really hope that she has, you know, a long career and she can get some success in NASCAR. And I will say, she's already better than Natalie Decker. The girl was 15 seconds off the pace at Road America. Do better, Decker. That's karma for blocking Christian.
That's what she gets, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I was upset about her being eligible for that race, because she was the last qualifier, but she got in based off of under points or something like that. And guys like Board said couldn't get in. I just thought it was messed up.
Yeah. People who have driven the 23 car get it in the top 10, but yet she finishes last in it every week. That should prove the point that she's only in there for money and assets, if you know what I mean.
You know, you guys are still simps, though. Come on, boys. Yeah, we can't look past that.
I'm definitely not a simp for Natalie Decker.
Listen, you guys are talking about Natalie Decker, all of this and all of that. You guys are still simps.
Of course, Cam has to bring this up.
All right, gentlemen.
Of course, it was all inspirational until Cam.
Yeah, way to go, Cam. Way to go.
Yeah, you guys are welcome.
You ruined the moment.
All right, last topic. You know. Last topic before the top 10 here. We got Kyle Larson getting an extension till 2023, plus his sponsorship getting an extension as well, to sponsor 35 races in 2022 and 2023. So what do you guys think of that?
It's deserved.
100% feel the same way. It's deserved. I mean, I don't really have much to say on that, really. I just definitely think it's deserved.
Yeah, I definitely think this is very deserved for Kyle Larson. He's been the past couple races, he hasn't been as good, but I don't think that's really much. But I think he definitely deserves it. I'm not surprised he got this extension, and yeah, I think he definitely deserves it.
That's called earned right there. That's another earned moment there. So congratulations to Kyle Larson. All right, guys. So we're going to do this top 10 now. This is top 10 New Hampshire moments. I'm going to start us off at number 10 with Cole Custer's first National Series win. Here's the clip.
Pace truck is off. Green flag.
Custer's going to be there. Custer is there. Great restart. Look at Bubba trying to make it 3 wide, and he does.
Bubba Wallace to the inside.
Cole Custer's going to have the advantage, I think, on this exit of turn 2 from the outside. How about that move by a 16-year-old?
I was afraid about Custer getting to the inside of Crafton into one. He just passed him before they got to turn 1. What a strong move.
It's Custer, it's Wallace, it's Crafton, Johnny Sauter, and John Hunter Nemechek. White flag, 1 lap remaining.
Just focus, one more.
Crafton not done yet with Darrell Wallace.
What a story we're going to tell today. Cole Custer battling from outside the top 5 late in the going and driving away from him at the checkered.
Cole Custer off of turn 4.
There you go, young man. Hell of a job.
First career win for Cole Custer. Just his 7th career start.
Oh, you did it, man. Great job. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Great.
Youngest driver to win a NASCAR National Touring Series race. 16 years, 7 months, 28 days.
So in the 2014 race, truck race to be exact, he started on the pole and dominated the race at just 16 years old with a track record as well. He had a bad stop, but still managed to win the race, late in the race, excuse me, and is the youngest National Series winner.
Facts, yo. I mean, I remember watching this race, and I was really hoping he was going to win. But, you know, I was also pulling for Bubba Wallace at the time, too. But Bubba ended up finishing second in that race. So I felt like that deserved the number 10 spot. You know, you don't see many 16-year-olds winning in such big level.
Okay, so now coming in at number 9 is the 2010 race at New Hampshire. So,
to go. Jeff Gordon may have something to say about this race before the day's over with, though, the way he got that restart.
Jimmy Johnson outstanding in practice here yesterday. Whoa! Kurt Busch with contact, the bump and run, new leader. The Blue Deuce out in front.
7 to go.
And
that's what I'm talking about.
That is boys have at it racing right there. There is nothing wrong with driving down in the corner, getting a guy a little bit out of shape. That's a classic Darrell Waltrip, Dale Earnhardt, whoever you want to say move.
Here's Busch, 3 laps to go, and he's trying to hang on, but Johnson reeling him in every lap.
And it's not.
It's coming. Here it is. It's gonna happen.
Johnson has won 4 times this year, including a week ago. 2 victories in 2010 for Busch. Repay, a little contact in the corner.
Same place.
You just knew it.
And look here. Look at the 14 right here in the mirror. Just hoping these guys do it.
2 laps to go. They're side by side at the stripe. Into one. Jimmy Johnson the advantage.
But I tell you, Kurt's not giving an inch right here.
Well, and this is really hard right there because Jimmy couldn't make the pass and slide up in front of him. Now he clears him.
New race leader, Jimmy Johnson out front with a lap and a half to go. Those the top 3 cars.
Look at this 14 right here, just digging on the inside.
Tony Stewart, who started deep in the field, he's making a late race rally, battling Kurt Busch for second. White flag has gone out. Final lap at New Hampshire.
Ooh, Tony got a little loose. Look at him wash up the racetrack into the 22 right there.
Smoke off of turn 2, able to slide in front of Kurt Busch. He now has the runner-up spot. Jimmy Johnson pulling away. For the 52nd time in his career, he's going to try and claim the checkers, and he's going to do it back-to-back. A win last week at Sonoma. Today, he does it in the Granite State. Johnson wins.
So in this race, with about 7 to go, it was Kurt Busch was in the lead. No, Jimmy Johnson was in the lead, and then Kurt Busch they were battling for the lead, and then Kurt Busch just moved him out of the way. Not like too aggressive or anything. That was a good move, but and then he took the lead, and then Jimmy Johnson he just fell back just a little bit. He was still in second, and then eventually with about 3 to go, because Jimmy Johnson had started to reel Kurt Busch in slowly, and that with like 3 to go, it was Jimmy Johnson returned the favor and he moved Kurt Busch out of the way for the lead, and then he would end up winning the race, and Kurt Busch would. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Kurt Busch, if second or third, Kurt Busch would finish.
Yeah,
and then Jimmy Johnson.
Sorry, good.
Would get. No, it's good, but and Jimmy Johnson would get his second win in a row, and then his 52nd career win.
Yeah, I was just going to say that, Tony Stewart finished second in that race. Kurt Busch finished third. And I remember watching this race. I was about 9 years old at the time. I was at the edge of my seat. It's another Jimmy Johnson, Kurt Busch rivalry moment. And when Kurt Busch first moved Jimmy Johnson out of the way, I was like, man, Jimmy, I was like, man, well, he lost. But he came back and he returned the favor. And, it's one of the most memorable New Hampshire moments. It's Jimmy Johnson's 5th win of the season. He ended up winning his 5th championship, 5th streak, in fact, that year, and it was his 3rd at New Hampshire. So moving on to number 8, I have Kyle Busch's 100th total National Series win, and not nationwide, but in all the top major 3 divisions. So roll the clip.
Watch him on this restart. If they run out of fuel, it could be on this restart.
Harvick's right there with him. The 6 car runs up the 62. They both go high, and it allows Casey Kane to duck underneath. Almirola going to go 3 wide. There's Elliott Sadler going 3 wide.
Yeah, Sadler on the very bottom. He got a good bite. He's starting to get underneath him, get away from him. But remember, these guys still got real cold tires. Not a lot of grip out there right now.
Kyle got a little sideways coming through 3 and 4. Here we come with the white flag. So this race is going to finish now. Does Kyle pick up win number 100? Does he tie Mark Martin for 49 nationwide wins? It looks like Kevin Harvick has the only shot at him. Down the back straightaway for the final time.
He's obviously got to get to him if he's going to make a difference in who determines in who wins this race.
Don't think it's going to happen. Coming out of 4. Here comes Kyle.
To win 100 wins, you ought to be proud of yourself. Good job, bud.
And he's done it.
Literally amazing.
49 equals 100 today.
100 wins.
Very impressive.
In 2011, in the Nationwide Series race at New Hampshire, Kyle Busch ended up holding off Kevin Harvick in a green-white checker finish to get the win. I don't have a whole lot of information about this race other than there was 9 cautions in this event and 749 green flag passes. Kyle Busch, it was his 49th Xfinity Series win. So that was a big moment for him, and I felt like that deserved the number 8 spot. So moving on to number 7 with Cam.
Let's go now. All right, Joey Logano won the rain shortened 273 lap race.
But look at this battle here between the 24 and the 2.
Caution's out.
And Joey Logano has the lead as the caution comes out.
Okay, now
fuel. We're good for about 3 to 5 laps there under green, so we go quite a few, okay? Just save fuel. Roll out, shut it off, shut all your fans off.
This is where Joey Logano, having a guy like Greg Zipadelli, is going to help him. It's raining. He's talking to him. He's going to talk him through it. He's going to talk him through cutting it off, doing all this stuff. Joey's a great driver. We've talked about it. He was not in this race till this time, okay? I mean, he's already been a lap down and got his lap back. He's had some issues, but I'm going to tell you something. This is where this team is going to take this driver and put him in position to win races, and today may be the day.
And congratulations to Joey Logano.
Joey Logano.
There he is. He gets his first career win. 19 years old, 1 month and 4 days. His dad comes in to give him a big hug. Just spectacular. And he gets it here at his home track. The driver out of Connecticut, Greg Zipadelli, and the crew have got their rookie a win.
Starting from the 24th position, Jeff Gordon of Hendrick Motorsports was second, with Penske's Racing, Kurt Busch third.
Yeah, and it was Joey Logano's first career win, and that year Tony Stewart won the pole position, but it was rained out, so he won based off of owner's points. He got the pole position. There actually ended up being a big wreck in this race, and that's what the race was mainly known for, other than Joey Logano's win, was Kyle Busch dumping Mark Truex Jr. on the front stretch.
Okay, just they're coming to the start, all of a sudden, go. He spins the tires, the one gets into him. Now the 18th thinks he's got room, like Kyle said, because the one car started drifting down. The one car started drifting back up, and Kyle was there.
Yeah, and look, you look at this on face value, and all the people that are Kyle haters out there will say Kyle Busch caused it. He didn't. This is a train reaction. It's like leaving a stop sign. When you leave a stoplight, if you're right on the guy in front of you.
Now watch this. This is just pure luck.
Oh, yeah.
Carl Edwards drives through it, and that's pure luck.
And Carl never turned the wheel. These two guys never turned the steering wheel, it didn't look like. But it's like leaving a stoplight. If you leave right behind somebody and they take off.
Oh, Martin, not happy with Kyle Busch.
And he's not happy, but I think when he goes and looks at it, he'll realize exactly what happened. Look, we've all been in that position where you think the guy behind you runs.
Fuel strategy. Who's going to pit before the rain comes out? Who's going to stay out and risk it? And Joey Logano stayed out, risked it. He was 19 years old, 1 month and 4 days at the time of his win. And at the time, he was the youngest Cup driver to win a race. So I felt like that deserved the number 7 spot.
And at number 6 is Tony Stewart after Clint Boyer runs out of gas. Here's the clip.
Go, Stewart led coming off turn 4 to the white flag. And he ran out of gas. Is it going to be different this time?
He's got a big lead. He can sit on that. He doesn't have to run very hard.
White flag is up this time. 1 lap to go.
Looks like Brad Keselowski took second away from Greg Biffle.
Final lap in New Hampshire. Watching Tony Stewart to see if he's got enough fuel to make it the advantage he has. He's up 7 seconds on Keselowski now as other people begin to fade.
Take a deep breath. I got this.
Sounds like he's got plenty of fuel.
So if he was stalking him, he knew just what he was doing. 2 wins in a row to start the chase.
Way to go.
Tony Stewart wins at New Hampshire.
That Clint ran out of gas with about 2 laps to go and ended up finishing 26th.
Yeah, Ryan Newman won the pole for that race. Ryan Newman actually is done really well at New Hampshire in his career. Jeff Gordon led the most laps with 78. He ended up finishing 4th, but it's crazy because at number 3 on this list, which y'all see, it was the total opposite. It was roles reversed. So y'all see that at the number 3 when we get there. But moving on to number 5.
Yeah, so coming in at number 5 is the 2013 New Hampshire race when Brian Vickers won. Roll the clip. Okay, so this is in 2013 when Brian Vickers would win his 3rd career win. Then he would also win. That was also his final career win. So, yeah, that was a pretty probably pretty exciting for him too.
Yeah, and it was an upset win too because he was driving part-time for Michael Waltrip Racing and driving the 55 Toyota car. Yeah, he won the Nationwide Series race the day before, which, he led 63 laps in and he held off Kyle Busch. And then the next day he held off Kyle Busch yet again in the Cup race. And it turned out to be, as you mentioned, his last career win. And it broke a 75 race winless streak for him. And unfortunately, his career ended not long afterwards. He had recurring blood clots, which ended his career. Moving on to number 4, I have number 4, and it is Ernie Irvan's comeback win in 1996. Roll the clip. So in 1994, 2 years before this, Ernie Irvan had a near fatal crash at Michigan, and he only was given a 10% chance of survival. It took him 14 months of, rehab and to recover. He ended up racing in some part-time tracks or events in 95, and then in 96 was sort of like his first almost full season. And then his first win back was actually during a dual race in 1996 at Daytona. But his first win ever, points paying win since come back from that injury, was at New Hampshire. And it was actually a pretty competitive race. There was 15 of the 40 cars leading at least one lap, and 8 drivers led a total of more than 10 laps. Ernie Irvan led the most with 38. And he ended up holding off Dale Jarrett, his teammate with Robert Yates Racing, for the win. After the race, he did a Polish victory lap in honor of Alan Kowicki. And, his quote at the end of the race was, "I just stayed focused on what I had to do and didn't think about winning it to the last lap. It's amazing we made it back to victory lane. Daytona is great, but it is what it's all about, to win the Winston Cup," which, unfortunately, he wasn't able to win a championship in his career, but definitely one of the greatest drivers of all time. So moving on to number 3.
We have Clint Boyer, who won after Tony Stewart runs out of gas. Here's the clip.
Running out. That's what Jeff Burton just reported. Burton last pitted on lap 208. That's when our first and second place cars also pitted. They're going to have to go. Tony Stewart's out of fuel. It's Clint Boyer's race now. Can he make it back? He has to go one more mile.
And he's got Denny Hamlin in his mirror.
Hamlin is trying to close. It is going to be this close. Does he have enough fuel? Boyer can pick up the win. He's led the most laps today, 176. He's got to get through 3 and 4.
He's got to get through good, too, because that 11 car is there.
It's called the Magic Mile. Who has the magic wand today?
Mash the gas.
The name is Clint Boyer, and he's your winner.
Come on, baby.
Oh, my goodness, what a finish.
Wow.
You never quit. This is how you're going to win a championship. You never quit.
Brad Keselowski won the pole position. Although he was almost immediately passed by Tony Stewart at the start of the race, many chased for the Sprint Cup participants, including Jimmy Johnson, Kurt Busch, and Hamlin, were in the top 10 for the most of the race. Although some encountered problems in the closing laps, Stewart was leading the race with 2 laps remaining, but ran out of fuel, giving the lead and the win to Bowyer. There were 21 lead changes among 8 different drivers, as well as 8 cautions during the race. Whoa.
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, it was roles reversed with the number 7 spot, if I'm correct on the list. This time Tony Stewart ran out of gas on the final lap, and Clint Boyer was able to get the win, but it was his first win of the season, 3rd of his career. But unfortunately, it turned out that they cheated. His car failed post-race inspection, and when they took it back to NASCAR's, Development Research Center, they found a couple things that was unauthorized to the rear body work of his car. So he ended up getting a $150,000 fine. His crew chief got suspended for 6 races. They lost 150 other points, and basically ended his chances of winning the championship that year for the chase. It's crazy that, they started off the chase with high hopes, and all of a sudden, just days later, boop, just taken away. But at number 2, moving on to number 2, we got Robbie Gordon's first career win, and it came at New Hampshire in 2001. It was the last race of the season. Roll the clip.
Now he's 1 mile from his first potential NASCAR Winston Cup Series win. 32 years old, his 62nd Winston Cup start. Who'd have thought that his first win would come on an oval track instead of a road course? Jeff Gordon dominated, but it's Robbie Gordon who's going to score the victory. 5th first-time winner in Winston Cup competition this year.
You're the man, Richard. Thank you for the opportunity. Excellent job today, guys. Excellent job.
Marty?
And in this mass of people, Alan, are tears in Gil Martin's eyes as he runs to cheer on his driver. Gil, I tell you what a great call by you to bring those old tires, and what a great drive by Robbie.
God, I can't believe this right here. This team has waited for this for 5 years, and Lowe's has been with them that long, and this is the 5th, they're leaving. I can't even hardly talk. I'm so happy for Richard and Robbie and this whole team right here and everything that everybody's been through. Lowe's, Snap-on, Goodyear. Goodyear, they had a great tire today. You just had to know which one to bring.
Good point. And this is a great way to send these guys off to the off-season, as they will all be together next year in 2002.
So the 2001 New Hampshire 300, it was originally scheduled for September the 16th, but after 9/11, they ended up moving it to after Thanksgiving, the weekend of the 23rd and 25th of 2001. And that race, they had 43 cars that qualified for it, but only 42 started because one of the teams called Eel River Racing, which is kind of weird. I've never heard that team before while I was doing this research. Their driver basically left, so they couldn't have a 43rd car in that race. But Robbie Gordon, with around 15 to go, he was battling Jeff Gordon. Jeff Gordon had already won the championship. It had been decided at Atlanta. But basically, Robbie Gordon really wanted his first win. He moves him out of the way, and Jeff Gordon ended up spinning out, and it brought out the final caution. They had to restart. Robbie Gordon ended up holding off. Trying to remember who he held off. I think it was Tony Stewart. Jeff Gordon led 257 and 300 laps that day. And one last fact I'll say about this race. This was the last NASCAR race in the top division without Jimmy Johnson until the 2020 Brickyard 400 when Jimmy Johnson tested for Corona. So now number one.
And in at number one is Jeff Burton winning the race after leading all 300 laps. Here's the clip.
Here comes Can't Believe It. It will be the 3rd win of the year for Jeff Burton after winning at Las Vegas and Daytona. And it will be his 4th New Hampshire victory in 12 events. And of course, restrictor plate racing, it'll be the 4th win for Jack Roush. 2 at Talladega with Mark Martin, 1 at Daytona with Jeff Burton, and now 1 here in New Hampshire.
So not really much is to say here. Even though Bobby Labonte won the pole, Jeff, I guess, managed to pass him and led all 300 laps. So pretty impressive, but also uneventful. So yeah, that will conclude this week's top 10.
It was actually a really competitive race. I actually went and watched this race a couple of days ago. They had a lot of wrecks in that race, surprisingly. And it's crazy how Jeff Burton was able to keep the lead despite all the cautions and, some of the green flag pit stops. He actually became the 3rd driver in Cup history to lead every single lap during the race. Kel Yarborough did it at Bristol in 73. Fireball Roberts did it in 1961. Kel Yarborough did it again in 1978. And, the feat is very rare. And for him to be able to do that is pretty incredible. The race actually ended under caution. It was his 14th win of the season. And it was his, of his career in his 3rd of the season. So, yeah, that I feel like deserved the number 1 spot.
Yeah, I know. I feel like that's really impressive because he's not even no disrespect to Jeff Burton, but he's not even one of the all-time greats of the sport.
Facts.
Yeah, definitely. So now let's get into the race picks for this weekend's races at New Hampshire. We're going to start off with the Xfinity Series. So why don't you guys go ahead of me, because I need to figure out who I want to pick.
Same, dude. I'm looking it up right now. I'm trying to find the starting lineup.
Yeah, same. I'm going to look through it too.
I guess I'll be the one to start off today. Looking through my guess, man, if I had to pick, I'm gonna go Matt Crafton. He's always been one of those guys.
Xfinity.
You're doing. Oh, oops. Whoops. Well, okay, it doesn't matter. All right. No aggression.
Sorry. Jeez.
Oh, I mean, no, it's okay. But I think that's actually a good pick because that's actually who I was going to pick because Noah Gregson has had some bad luck this season, like really bad luck. But he's also had some pretty good results. But I think Noah Gregson's gonna win.
It's crazy, dude. We all seem to pick the same people. I literally had picked Gregson to win this race as well. He's starting off in third. Jeff Burton's on the pole. Haley Deegan, or not Haley Deegan, Justin Haley. Come on, Haley.
Oh no.
Justin Haley starting second. So my pick, if it's not going to be Gregson, I actually am going with Christopher Bell in the 54 car. If Gregson doesn't win. So yeah. What about you, Mike?
I guess I'm gonna go a little bit different here. I don't think Gregson's gonna win. I'm gonna go with Christopher Bell.
Okay.
I know that he's won here before, and he's been solid in the Xfinity cars, and he's coming back. And plus, I just can't think of anybody else, so I didn't want to take him, but I'll go with Christopher Bell. So now for the Cup race. Luckily, I do know exactly who I want to pick for this one. I'm going with Brad Keselowski in that beautiful electric Freightliner scheme.
I'm going with Joey Logano. I'm going with Joey Logano, baby. Attaboy. Let's go, Joey.
Those are both really good picks because they've won at New Hampshire in the past. And I actually found a funny post with Brad Keselowski. Made a funny post with about the Lobster Trophy. If you haven't checked it out, go check that out. It's on its feed. I'm not trying to like promote Brad Keselowski, but you know what I'm saying. I'm trying to decide because it's pretty difficult for me to pick who's going to win this. I want to say Kevin Harvick because like he's won there before, but at the same time, every time I pick Kevin Harvick to win this year, he doesn't win. So it's kind of like I can't pick him because I want to see him win. But for me, I'm actually going to go with Tyler Reddick. I'm going to do a surprise pick, and I'm going to go with Tyler Reddick to win this race. He started in 8th, and he's had a lot of great runs recently, so I think he's going to win.
Yeah, I think I agree with Mike's pick. That's a really good pick, Mike. But I was thinking that I think Brad's going to win this race because the last New Hampshire race. At least I don't know for sure if New Hampshire had 2 races last season, but I'm pretty sure the last New Hampshire race, Brad dominated it.
He did.
This season he hasn't showed as much speed, but I think as of late he's had a few top 10s. He showed a lot of speed at the second Pocono race, but yeah, I don't really think he's gonna dominate it like he did last year, but I think Brad Keselowski wins.
And so with that will conclude this week's interesting episode of the Nasboys podcast. Thank you guys so much for watching. Comment, like, and subscribe. Subscribe to our sports channel. Join our NASCAR Fantasy League. And we will see you guys in the next episode. Peace.
Peace.
Peace. Peace.
Peace. Peace.